Live on Six Music, sounding absolutely splendid. That's Sassyhiya, Kristen Stewart. There are two more live tunes to come. Kathy, would you like to introduce the rest of the band, please?
Yeah, I will. I'm Kathy, and we've got Neil on guitar.
Hello.
Hello. Helen on bass.
Hello. Good evening.
Pablo on drums.
Good evening. We'll get to Pablo's T-shirt in a bit, but we should talk about other... We'll have to really paint pictures on the radio when we get to that. Well done on... in case we get caught up in other bits and pieces, well done on Take You Somewhere, which is a really good record. Was it a fun record to make, an enjoyable record to make?
Yeah, it was really enjoyable. It took quite a long time, but once we finally got into the studio and started recording everything, we basically did it in just a couple of days, really, and then the mixing obviously took a little bit longer.
It was with
played it live.
Toby from Posse. It was at his studio in Deptford, and Posse's one of my favourite bands, one of our favourite bands, so that was an extra special treat to work with him.
Yeah, and they've been regular guests with Marc in particular, haven't they, Posse?
Yeah, great band.
Really good band. I know the answer is probably, how would we know, re Kristen Stewart, but is there any indication that she's heard that particular tune?
Yes.
And what is the indication?
Someone told us. I managed to find an address of someone that is a pal of hers who hopefully passed it on, but the fact that her fiancé, Dylan, started following us on Instagram made us think that hopefully they like it, or they're keeping an eye on us.
I was going to say, he probably wants an address for a restraining order, I would imagine, does he?
Yeah.
I hope she'd like it, especially the Spencer Immensa Ryan.
True story.
Yeah, so you really did spot her filming Spencer, for that as a film, in South, on the Old Kent Road.
On the Old Kent Road at the KFC, not where you usually spot an A-lister.
So was there a bit in that film where Diana stops at the KFC on Old Kent Road?
Yeah, it's kind of, sorry, spoiler alert if you've not seen Spencer, but towards the end, it's like, she's like a real mum, not one of those royals. She takes the sons to KFC.
There you go.
And probably the one that they could find that still looked like it was from the 1980s was the one on the Old Kent Road.
No offence to that particular branch,
Sadly
obviously.
Sadly not there. They've knocked it down now.
Have they now?
Well, there you go.
This is a great collection of songs on the LP, and I know it's interesting that the reference points that are applied, such as Delta 5, funnily enough, we're repeating their session this week, and Go-Betweens and Kleenex, they all ring true, and yet you don't sound like any of them. Is that fair enough?
Oh wow, I think that's a really great compliment.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
in the mix, but with other things.
Exactly. Yeah, there's plenty
Yeah.
else going on there, isn't there?
There is. I'm feeling a little bit kind of ganged up upon here, if I'm honest. Because he's a big cat person, right? And I'm a big dog person. And I get the impression that I'm surrounded by cat people. Is this right?
Well, we've got a cat, so
Kathy and I have our pet cat.
But I would love to have a dog, so I'm also a dog. I think of myself
possible
as a
to be
dog
both.
and cat person.
You're the Kofi Annan of indie pop. That you just smoothed over those trouble walls. I just say, so dogs are more controllable than cats. But I've just got a very quick story about a mate of mine called Jason Reed, who used to work for this PR company called the Ministry of Fun. And when there was a vodka advert out years ago, there was a cat walking around, skirting around on a shelf, and it knocked a bottle of vodka over. And so he went on TV as a cat expert, right? And he had to go on and say, look, cats are very controllable. People talk about dogs all the time, but cats, they're exactly the same. And so he went on breakfast TV, national breakfast TV, with these two cats that he borrowed off his neighbour that he'd never seen before, and opened up the cat box and went, come on, bing, boom, running all over the place. And I think just intrinsically that is why I probably am a dog person. And
So that's why I'm a cat person.
Yeah, I like that.
There you go. You see, that works out the personalities in the room, man.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
That takes us then to Crayon Potato, who is the cat who has a song written about her. Will she be listening, by the way? Not to overplay the cat person thing.
She won't be listening.
No, she won't. Okay, well, that's okay then. And we'll hear the song in a bit. I mean, there are plenty of cats in rock. There's Telemachus on the cover of Tapestry.
Right.
Yeah. There's that Delilah by Queen. There's your That's a Fugazi T-shirt that Marc's wearing with
What's on
the
it?
cat
With a
on
cat
it.
on it.
But this particular cat, it seems, but reading the lyric of the song, Crown Potato is obviously an extraordinarily lovable and beautiful cat, definitely. But you pay for your love, and she doesn't take fools gladly, so to speak. Is that right?
She definitely doesn't. No, everything is on her terms. I mean, it's very cat, I suppose, but like she will let you stroke her, but only in a very particular place, in a very particular way when she's in a particular mood.
If your arms get near her face, she'll shred them.
Sorry, my Rob and Pep, they get what they're given. They have no say in it, you know. So
Do they
there
like?
you go.
Do they like wearing hats? Do they like cottage cheese?
They'll just do as they're told.
Do they like chips? Do they like any of those things?
They like chips.
Oh, do they?
Definitely.
Well, she doesn't like any of those things. She likes ocean fish and attacking, it seems. Do you want to talk about Pablo's T-shirt, Marc?
Well,
Okay. Can I just say that Pablo is wearing a T-shirt which may be familiar to followers of a certain band because it has two people called Marc on it who are in said band, and they're being interviewed on the television in about
82, I think.
82, thank you. And they in New Zealand or Australia? Australia, sorry. Sorry, Marc. If only there was somebody here who could verify all the facts around this.
okay, so Pablo's playing drums there behind the screens, which is how we always like to keep drummers, by the way.
Exactly.
And
Drummers
just
lot.
great drummer, looking, keeping an eye on the action there. And then I noticed the T-shirt has got a screen grab of Mark Smith and myself with this guy called Donny, who had it was almost like Tiswell's kind of a Saturday morning.
Fantastic. Compost Corner. Brilliant. Yeah.
Well, that was Compost Corner, probably as close as they were going to get. But so it was Mark Smith and I. But the frisson within is just down to the fact that, well, we don't look particularly happy on it, but we'd had the fight, the kind of infamous fight in Sydney in a nightclub the night before. And so this was around about 12 hours after we'd laid one on each other. So it wasn't...
It makes for a very good T-shirt. Can I just say that?
It did make for good telly.
I have to think it was great telly. I thought it was very unfull. That was what's so hilarious about it.
Well, yeah, maybe.
I know it was a gift from Neil over there, so thank you.
There we
It's
are.
the best
Well,
birthday
good.
present I've ever had.
That's good. Good to see a band looking after each other and keeping yourselves dressed in proper T-shirts. Are you ready to play another couple of numbers now back to back, please?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the first one going to be?
This is called Thank You and Goodbye, but we're not ready to say goodbye just yet.